The girls are pointing at you, not figuratively, not as a manner of speaking. They are standing in the meeting house in Salem Village on a cold morning in March of 1692, and their arms are extended, and their fingers are aimed at you with a directness that feels almost formal, like a document being signed, like something being made official. And the room full of people who have known you for 20 years is turning, slowly to look. You do not move. You have learned in the hours since this began that moving is interpreted, that a twitch of the hands is evidence of spectral interference, that looking away is evidence of guilt, that looking directly at the girls causes them, apparently, to convulse, a fact that was demonstrated to the magistrate this morning, and that you watch with a feeling that hasn't settled into a word yet, something between horror and a terrible, sourceless bewilderment. You are 41 years old. You have lived in this community your entire life, and you are standing in the meeting house watching two girls you have known since their births decide, with the absolute conviction of the young and the frightened and the believed, that you are the reason for everything that has gone wrong. Here is what you need to understand about who you are, before you understand what they are making you into. Your name is Rebecca. You are a farmer's wife. The wife is a word that belongs to 30 years of a specific life, a specific man, a specific house on the edge of a field that blooms badly some years and well in others, and is yours in the way that things become yours through the accumulation of seasons spent attending to them. Your husband Francis is a good man, steady, the kind of steady that doesn't announce itself, that is simply there, the same way the house is there, the same way the field is there. You have 8 children, 7 are still living. You are, by the measure of your community, a woman who has done everything correctly. You attend meeting every Sunday. You have nursed neighbors through illness and sat with the dying and brought food to the houses of people whose harvest failed. You are known as a woman of good character. We're known, the tense is already shifting. You can feel it shifting in the room around you like weather. A woman of good character and quiet faith, and no obvious enemies. Except that last part is not entirely true. The Putnam family has been in a land dispute with your family for 11 years. Thomas Putnam's daughter Anne is 12 years old and is one of the girls pointing at you. This is a fact. You hold this fact in your mind and you turn it over, and you cannot make it mean what it seems to mean, because surely a land dispute does not end like this. Surely the world does not work this way. You are about to learn how the world works. It starts, as these things always start, with something that seems small. The previous winter, 2 young girls in the village begin having fits. Betty Paris, the minister's daughter, her cousin Abigail. The fits are, and you have seen them described, the whole village has been talking about nothing else for 2 months. The fits are extraordinary. Convulsions, contortions, screaming, the sensation of being pinched and bitten by invisible hands. A doctor examines them and finds no physical cause, which in 1692 in a Puritan community in Massachusetts means one thing and one thing only: witchcraft. The girls are asked, who is tormenting you? They give names. The first names are easy. A Caribbean slave named Tituba, a beggar woman named Sarah Good, an elderly woman named Sarah Osborne, who hasn't been to meeting in years. Women at the margins. Women whose exclusion from the community's good opinion was already established, who were already not quite fitting the shape the community expected a woman to fit. Then the circle widens. Then it widens again. Then it widens again, and this time it reaches you. You are arrested on the 12th of March. The warrant arrives in the morning while you are in the house. Francis is in the field. You see him, through the window, moving along the eastern fence line, the way he has moved along it every morning for 30 years, and you have a moment of wanting to call out to him, a sharp physical impulse to simply open the window and say his name, and then the men with the warrant are at the door, and the moment passes and you don't. You go with them. There is no alternative to going with them. Refusing to go would itself be evidence. Running would be evidence. In Salem in the spring of 1692, anything a woman does when accused of witchcraft is evidence of witchcraft, which is a logic that has no seam, no gap, no place where a person can insert the lever of innocence and apply pressure. You understand this with a coldness that surprises you. You are not a complicated woman. You have never been required to be a complicated woman. Your life has been full and demanding and real, but it has not, until now, required you to think about the architecture of impossible situations. And yet you find, walking toward the meeting house between two men who will not meet your eyes, that you can see the shape of what is happening with a clarity that feels almost like someone else's mind working inside yours. They have already decided. The examination is not a search for truth. It is a performance of a truth already agreed upon. And your job in it, the only role available to you, is accused. Everything you say will be heard through that. Every denial will be further evidence of the cunning of witches who are known to deny. Every hesitation will be evidence of guilt. Every tear will be evidence of guilt. Every absence of tears will be evidence of guilt. There is no version of this in which you are a woman. There is only the witch. The meeting house is full. Every person in Salem Village who can walk has come. They press along the walls, fill the galleries, stand in the doorways in the cold March air, with their breath making small clouds, and you walk through them and you recognize every face, and every face is doing something different. Some are afraid, genuinely afraid, which you could have compassion for if you weren't the thing they're afraid of. Some are curious with the unself-conscious curiosity of people watching something happen to someone else. Some, and these are the hardest to look at, some are wearing the careful, neutral expression of people who know this is wrong and have made the calculation that saying so is more dangerous than silence. You have made that calculation yourself, in other situations, other accusations. You understand it. The understanding does not make it easier to be on the receiving end of it. The magistrate, John Hathorne, asks you, "Have you afflicted these children?" You say, "I am innocent as the child unborn." One of the girls convulses. The room gasps. You watch it happen and you think, with the strange sideways thinking that extreme stress produces, the part of the mind that keeps working even when everything else goes white. You think she is doing that on purpose. And then immediately, does it matter if she is? And then, does she even know she is? This is the question that will stay with you through everything that follows. The question you cannot answer. Because Ann Putnam and Betty Paris and Abigail Williams are 12 and 11 years old. And they live in a world that tells them the devil is real and present and working through the bodies of their neighbors. And you cannot be entirely certain that they don't believe it. You cannot be certain they are lying. You cannot be certain they aren't. Both possibilities are terrible, and you have to live inside the impossibility of knowing, which is its own particular form of cruelty. They put you in Salem jail to await trial. The jail is, and you want to be accurate about this, not dramatic. Accuracy is the only thing you have left that belongs to you. The jail is a cellar, stone floor, low ceiling, the smell of damp, and the smell of bodies, and the smell of something underneath those smells that you decide fairly quickly not to investigate further. There are other women here. You recognize two of them. You sit against the wall, and you do not speak for a long time, and neither do they, and eventually the silence becomes a kind of company. The chains are what you didn't expect, not the fact of them. You understood there would be chains, but the weight of them, the specific, constant, physical weight of iron on your wrists and ankles, which is not painful exactly, but is present with a totalness that is like being spoken to, like the chains are saying something to your body about what your body's worth, and your body, after 50 years of being useful and capable, and the instrument of a life, is listening. You pray. You have prayed your whole life with the regularity of breathing and the moderate faith of a person who believes but has never been tested. Not really, not like this. And what you discover in the cellar in Salem jail is that your faith and your fury are not as incompatible as you thought. You can be furious at what is happening and still believe in the God it's happening under. You can hold both. You do hold both. It is not comfortable holding both, but it is honest, and honesty is the thing you have decided, in the absence of almost everything else, to keep. Francis comes when they will let him. He sits across from you and he holds your chained hands in both of his, and he does not say, everything will be all right. He is too honest for that, and you are too honest for that, and you have been married for 30 years, which means you know what the other person cannot believe even when they want to. He says, I am here. He says, the children know you are innocent. He says your name once, quietly, the way a person says the name of something they are afraid of losing. You tell him, take care of the children. He tells you he will. You both know what that means. The trial is in June. It is, by any modern measure, not a trial. It is a proceeding in which spectral evidence, the testimony of the afflicted girls that your spirit, your specter, has been visiting them in dreams and visions to torment them, is admitted as fact. There is no mechanism by which you can disprove what someone else dreamed. There is no mechanism by which anyone in that courtroom in the summer of 1692 in Massachusetts is looking for a mechanism. 39 of your neighbors sign a petition on your behalf. 39 people who have known you for decades, who have watched you live a life of ordinary decency, who stand up in the face of a community in the grip of something and say, not her. This woman is not what they are saying she is. You learn about the petition in the jail. You sit with it for a long time. 39 people. In a community that small, 39 people signing their names to a document that runs counter to the official machinery of accusation is, you understand this, even here, even now. It is not nothing. It is, in fact, a kind of love. The complicated, costly, insufficient kind of love that people manage in situations where the complete version is beyond what safety allows. You are convicted on the 19th of June. Here is what you cannot know from inside it. 19 people will be executed in Salem before this ends. You will be one of them. You will be hanged on Gallows Hill on the 19th of July, 1692, alongside 4 others. And the record will show that you died maintaining your innocence, which is true, which is the only victory available to you and which you take. The girls, some of them, years later, will recant. Ann Putnam Jr. will stand in the meeting house in 1706, 14 years after she pointed her finger at you, and she will read a public apology. She will say she acted in ignorance and under a great delusion of Satan. She will ask the forgiveness of the families of the accused. Whether this is sufficient is a question no one can answer for you. Governor Phipps will dissolve the court before the end of the year. The spectral evidence rules will be abandoned. The logic that made a 12-year-old girl's dream admissible as the instrument of a death sentence will be recognized slowly and painfully as the catastrophe it was. In 1711, the Massachusetts legislature will pass a bill reversing the attainders of those convicted. Your name will be on the list. The restoration will come with a monetary payment to your heirs, Francis, the children, which is the legislature's way of saying, we know, which is the closest thing to accountability the machinery of government in 1711 can manage. In 2001, the Massachusetts legislature will pass a resolution formally exonerating all of the accused. 309 years. This is how long it takes. What you leave behind is not what you would have chosen to leave behind. You would have chosen the 8 children, the 7 living ones, the field in good years, the 30 years of Francis saying your name in the particular way he said it, not the way he said it in the jail, the frightened way, but the ordinary way, the way that had no weight in it because it didn't need to, because you were simply there, simply present, the way the house was present and the field was present and the life was present. That is what you would have chosen to leave. What you actually leave is a name in a record, a name on a petition signed by 39 people, a name on a bill of reversal that takes 19 years to pass, a name on a legislative resolution that takes 3 centuries. Your name, over and over, in documents you will never read, carrying a meaning you did not choose and could not control. The meaning that accumulates around the name of a person who was wronged in a way that becomes, eventually, a lesson. Not because lessons require victims, but because the only thing that can be made from something this wrong is the determination that it not happen again. It happens again. This is the honest ending. It happens again. The mechanism changes. The accused change. The language changes. but the shape of it, the pointed finger, the impossible proof, the room full of people who know and say nothing. The shape is older than Salem and more durable than any single reckoning. But in this town, in this year, with these specific 39 names on a piece of paper, it stops. You're on Gallows Hill in July. It is a clear morning, the kind of New England summer morning that is almost aggressively beautiful. The light clean and direct, the air still cool enough at this hour that you can feel it on your skin. The hills to the west green and unhurried and entirely indifferent to what is happening on the road that winds up through them. You have said your prayers. You have said your husband's name inside them, quietly, where only you and God can hear it. You have said your children's names. You have said the names of the 39 people who signed their own names to yours, who stood in the gap when the gap was real and costly. The magistrate reads the charge. You look at the hills, you have nothing to confess.